Hi everybody, my name is Amy and I'm one of the librarians in the Pennsylvania department, which is Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh's Genealogy and Local History department. We have been getting a ton of questions over the last few weeks about researching birth and death certificates for Pennsylvania ancestors. So I thought I would take a few minutes today to talk about what records are out there and where to find them. Let's start with the easy one first. The state of Pennsylvania started issuing birth and death certificates as we know them today in 1906. So anyone who was born in Pennsylvania or died in Pennsylvania after January 1st, 1906 will have one of those state-issued certificates. There are some privacy restrictions on those records, however. Birth records are private in Pennsylvania for 105 years after the person's birth, and death records are private for 50 years after the person's death. The records that are considered publicly available, a lot of those are on Ancestry.com, which you can access right now through the library's website. The thing to remember is that Ancestry is a little bit behind on getting those records online. What you will find online right now for birth records are the records from 1906 to 1911. For death records, you will find 1906 up through 1967. For the records that are public but not yet on Ancestry, or the records that aren't technically public information yet, you can still get those. You just have to order them through the state's Department of Health. And I'll post a link in the comments below so that you can have access to that ordering information. For records before 1906, it does get a little bit more complicated in terms of tracking records, just because every town and county was doing their own thing in that pre-1906 time period. At CLP, we have microfilm records for the city of Pittsburgh, for Allegheny City, which is now Pittsburgh's north side. We have Allegheny County, Sewickley, McKeesport, and Wilkinsburg. Those records for the city of Pittsburgh start in 1870, and the records for all of those other areas start at different times in the 1870s up through the 1890s, depending on which community you're looking at. You do have a couple of different ways to get to those records. At CLP, we can do a certain amount of research for you once the library reopens. And I'll put a link in the comments also to our research requests page, which will take you to the form where you can let us know the name of the person you're searching for and the expected range of birth or death dates. There is a $5 per name fee to search those records, and then once we go through the records, we will send you a copy of the birth registration or death registration through email, but we'll also let you know if we don't find anything. Those records, however, are also on FamilySearch.org. If you are not already using FamilySearch and you're doing research for Allegheny County, I really recommend that you make a free account over there at FamilySearch, all one word, FamilySearch.org. The records on for Allegheny County on FamilySearch are fantastic because there are so many more things than just these birth and death records. The one tricky part is that those records are not indexed, meaning they will not come up in your record search just by typing in your person's name. You do have to navigate through the catalog and search for Allegheny County to find a list of all of the Allegheny County records in FamilySearch. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in one of our upcoming how-to videos to help you navigate through that process. So that's records starting around 1870. If you're looking for records before 1870, for that time period, we're really looking for church records, which means you would need to know which religion the family practiced at the time of the birth or death that you're looking for. If you know what religion they practiced and if you know where they lived in the city or in the county, we can try to point you in the right direction to the archives or library that may hold the sacramental records for that church for that time period. Some of those are still with the churches, some are in regional archives. So if you want to send us an email at padept, PADEPT, at carnegielibrary.org, we will do our best to point you in the right direction. So that's all I wanted to talk about today in terms of researching birth and death records. There's of course a lot more we could talk about. So please post your questions in the comments below and I will do my best to answer them. If you have other questions, go ahead and post those as well, and we may end up using your question in a future video. Please check back on Friday for a short how-to video walking you through using one of our genealogy resources, and come back next Tuesday for another virtual genealogy help session. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.